Have you ever wondered why the rich keep getting richer while you're stuck in a cycle of debt, bills, and unfulfilled dreams? Have you ever looked around and asked yourself why, in the same society, with the same educational starting point, one group owns wealth thousands of times greater than the rest? They're not just luckier than you. They're not even necessarily smarter. The one thing they do differently is they understand the game, a game that you were never taught, yet you're forced to play every day. Let's be honest with ourselves. You were taught from a young age that if you study hard, work diligently, save money, you'll have a stable life. But deep down, you know that's a lie. You work hard, you save, you do everything you're supposed to do. Yet, what you get in return are red numbers, exhaustion, and the fear of falling behind. Money doesn't care about fairness. Money has no morality. Money only bows to power. And power, no one is going to give it to you. You have to take it. The poor follow the rules. The rich bend the rules. The poor believe someone will notice their efforts. The rich understand that rewards aren't given. They're strategically seized. And that difference is why one side gets suffocated, while the other controls the flow. Here's the brutal truth. Most people will spend their whole lives as losers in a game they didn't write the rules for. They believe hard work will help them rise. But hard work in a system designed for you to fail only makes you burn out faster. You're not poor because you're incompetent. You're poor because you're playing a game you don't understand. Once you grasp the Machiavellian power principles behind the flow of money, you'll no longer see the world through the same lens. You'll start to see the gears in motion, where money really flows, who controls it, and who's being controlled. There, effort matters less than where you stand, how you observe, and the strategy you employ. From this moment on, you'll stop hearing the empty promises of getting rich with sheer willpower. What you'll hear is the language of power, cold, calculated, and effective. Because the rich don't fight with emotions, they win with strategy. You can keep believing that the world is fair, or you can learn to see it for what it truly is. Money isn't neutral. It doesn't take sides. It only obeys those who know how to control it. The first thing you need to understand: money is a weapon, not a neutral object. Money isn't neutral. That's the first thing you need to drill into your mind. Money is just a tool, a weapon. And like any weapon, it only gains power when it's in the hands of someone who knows how to use it. In the hands of the weak, money slips through their fingers like water. In the hands of the strong, money multiplies, expands, and controls. The weak use money to survive. The strong use money to control the game. The difference lies in how you view money, as a means of survival or as a lever of power. Think about how you grew up. Around you, most people were taught how to earn money, but no one taught you how to control money. People told you to get a good job, work hard, save, and hope for stability. But they didn't tell you that if all you know is earning money through labor, you'll always be at the bottom of the financial power chain. Look at how money moves in society. The average person works to earn every penny. They trade their time for a paycheck that barely covers the bills. Meanwhile, at the top, there are people who don't break a sweat, yet their wealth increases every second because the money from others is flowing toward them. That's the structure of this game. And if you don't see it, you'll always just be a part of the flow that someone else controls. Money is an amplifier. It magnifies either the weakness or the strength within you. The weak use money to buy temporary safety, a little entertainment, a a bit of comfort. The strong use money to build systems. Systems that make money create more money, and power compound upon power. So, if you still see money as a reward for long hours of hard work, you've already lost before you even started. The winners don't wait for money to come. They place it where it finds them. From here, you need to understand a deeper truth. You're not just earning money, you're in a battle, where every small decision about money is either a strike or a step backward. In this battle, the one without strategy is the default loser. A gun doesn't hit its target if you don't know how to aim. Money is the same. If you don't know how to control it, it becomes a weapon in the hands of someone else, and you're the one staring down the barrel. You can keep living like a cog in the system, or you can start learning how to use that very system. There's only one of two paths, and the choice is yours. The first rule: silence is a weapon. The weak often think that talking a lot is a way to express themselves, to prove their worth. They ramble on in meetings, during negotiations, and even in their relationships. What they don't realize is that every word they say exposes a piece of armor, a weakness that others can exploit. The strong, on the other hand, are different. They stay quiet. They observe. They make others uncomfortable with the silence. People hate silence. And when the silence lingers, the weak start to panic and reveal everything: their information, emotions, weaknesses, and limits. Silence is a kind of invisible pressure that few can withstand. In negotiations, the one who talks the most is often the one at the weakest position. The one who says less but knows when to be silent is the one who leads the game. But silence alone isn't enough. If your emotions are easy to predict, you're still being controlled. Rule number 2: be unpredictable. When you're mysterious, you can't be controlled. Most people aren't great at hiding their feelings. Their emotions are written all over their face, in their voice, in how they react. Fear, greed, hesitation. It's like an open book. And the financial predators? They just read it. On the other hand, the truly powerful remain quiet. You have no idea what they're thinking. You can't predict their next move. And that uncertainty is what makes them dangerous. An unpredictable person is someone who can't be controlled. They're not swayed by advertisements, public opinion, or trends. They save when others spend, act when others hesitate, withdraw when others charge forward. If you don't reveal your emotions, you don't reveal your plans. If you don't let others know when you're weak, they won't know when to strike. When you confuse them, you take away their power to act. You're no longer a pawn in someone else's game. You're the one controlling the board. An empire isn't built by following the crowd. It's built by standing above, observing, waiting, and striking with precision. Rule number 3: patience, the ultimate weapon of the predator. Most poor people fail not because they don't try, but because they can't wait. They act on impulse, dive into get-rich-quick schemes, and their impatience turns them into prey. Money slips from their hands and flows into the vaults of others. Predators aren't in a hurry. They know the biggest advantage in this game is timing. They can wait for months, even years, just to make the right move. They buy when others panic, hold when others falter, strike when others retreat. Warren Buffett never rushes or acts impulsively. He always waits for the best opportunity, investing in companies with long-term potential rather than seeking quick success. Patience is the highest form of self-control. When you know how to wait, you expose the impatient for who they really are. You let them rush into weakness, while you calmly step in at the perfect moment. When you control yourself, you control the game. Patience helps you strike at the right time, with a lethal blow. Leverage, storytelling, and control. You might have a sharp mind, and you might have worked on mastering self-control, but if you don't have a strategy, you're still just a smart player in someone else's game. Most poor people think the path to wealth is through working more. They put in more hours, pinch every penny. But the problem is, their time is limited. No one can work 24 hours a day. The rich, on the other hand, don't sell their time. They buy the time of others. The wealthy don't work harder than you. They just stand in a different position. They are above, where your efforts automatically flow into their pockets. That's the law of leverage. Leverage is the ability to put yourself in a position where the money, effort, and energy of others automatically flow toward you. Ordinary people create value and receive a small portion of it. Those with leverage control where value flows and take most of it. Money doesn't flow to the best product, and it doesn't flow to the hardest worker. It flows to the story that is believed the most. That's why big brands can sell an average product for far more than its actual worth. They aren't just selling products, they're selling a belief, an emotion, a social status. Coco Chanel created a narrative centered around femininity, freedom, and independence in all of her designs, making every product, from handbags to perfumes, carry a unique spiritual value. A powerful story can make millions act without anyone telling them to. A compelling story can turn strangers into loyal followers. If you can't tell your story, you'll become part of someone else's. Steal discipline, the price you pay. Here's something most people don't want to hear. Comfort is the sweet trap. It keeps you stuck at one level, making you forget that you're standing on the outskirts of the power game, growing weaker and weaker. The ones who control the game aren't lucky. They control it because they're willing to pay the price with their comfort. They master themselves before trying to control others. They don't spend all their money on temporary pleasures. They invest. They're patient. They endure silent, isolated days doing things no one else understands, just to reach a point where the crowd looks up to them. Machiavelli once warned, "A prince at times must act against mercy, faith, and even humanity to maintain power." To stand at the top, you can't just play by the rules. You need to know how to set the rules. The rich don't race on someone else's track. They build their own track and make the crowd squeeze into it. Supplementary weapons, the hidden tools. If the three fundamental principles help you control yourself, and the three strategic principles help you control the game, then these supplementary weapons are the hidden tools, the sharp blades tucked up the sleeves of those who truly control the flow of money. They're not flashy, not loud, but when used at the right moment, they create an overwhelming advantage. Substitution. Stop selling your time. The poor trade their labor for money. The rich substitute their time with systems, ideas, or the energy of others. The poor sell time, a resource that can't be multiplied. The rich create systems that make other people's time, money, and energy flow toward them. Illusion, when belief is more valuable than truth. A simple ring can become a symbol of power. A piece of fabric can become a luxury brand. A sheet of paper can become currency. None of this is because of the inherent value. It's because of the collective illusion people believe in. The strong understand that illusion is real wealth. They don't need to create massive value. They just need to create belief that it has great value. And when the crowd believes it, the value is born. Illusion isn't lying. It's how you control perception. In a world where truth often loses to emotion, the person who leads emotions is the one who wins. The average person spends money because of the emotions they buy. The wealthy sell those emotions, wrapped in products, brands, images, and stories. Exploitation, when you see opportunity where others see waste. Most people let opportunities slip by because they view the world through emotion. The smart see opportunities in others' fears, mistakes, and gaps. When the crowd panics, the weak run. The strong stay calm, calculate, and buy when everyone else is selling. When millions are wasting their time on social media, the strong find a way to turn that waste into profit. Exploitation isn't about being malicious. It's about recognizing what others miss and acting before they do. In this game, if you don't exploit the opportunity, then you are the opportunity others will exploit. Keeping. When you control information, you control power. The weak always want to share everything, their plans, emotions, limits. They believe openness will gain them trust and help. But in reality, every piece of information you reveal is a lever you hand over to someone else. The strong keep information. They don't talk much. They don't expose their purpose. And they don't show their weaknesses. They know when to speak, and more importantly, when to stay silent. When you keep information, you make others guess. When they have to guess, they're put on the defensive. When they're defensive, you control the situation. Selective silence isn't just wisdom, it's a strategic weapon. Silence bends people. Unpredictability protects you. Patience turns desperation into opportunity. Leverage turns others into resources. Storytelling drives belief. Substitution frees you from the chains of labor. Illusion creates value out of nothing. Exploitation turns waste into gold. Keeping information secures your position. These are the foundations of all power plays. The difference between the wolf and the flock. The winner isn't necessarily the strongest, but always the one with the best tools and the timing to use them. System integration, the mindset of domination. In the previous sections, you've walked through 3 layers of power: self-control, strategic gameplay, and the underground weapons of financial elites. Now, it's time to combine them all into one system, a framework of dominating mindset, where you are no longer reacting to the world, but shaping the world around you. This is no longer a theory. This is the mindset that market leaders, business owners, investors, and lawmakers are using every day. The average person can't see it because they're too busy chasing results. The dominant ones see through it. They understand the rules of the game. Self-control. Before controlling the game, no one can dominate if they can't control themselves. This is the foundation. Silence keeps you from showing your cards. Unpredictability keeps you from being controlled. Patience lets you strike at the right time. If you're still reacting emotionally, you'll always be a step behind. If you're talking too much to prove yourself, you'll always fall into traps. If you don't know how to wait, you'll always overpay, sell cheap, and lose, even when you think you're moving forward. Build a strategy, so you don't have to play by others' rules. Silence and patience help you survive, but strategy is what helps you win. Leverage, so you multiply power from others. Story, so you lead the crowd's perception. Sacrifice, so you rise while others stay comfortable, sleeping through the opportunity. Strategy is how you redraw the game board. When you have leverage, you don't need to race. When you have the story, You don't need to force persuasion. When you embrace sacrifice, you advance past those who only seek short-term pleasure. Remember, the person who holds the rules of the game never tires of the race, because they are the ones setting the track. Most people live in a state of being controlled without realizing it. They chase news. They react to the market. They spend money to prove their worth. They let emotions guide their actions. The ones above them, on the other hand, create information for others to chase. They control the flow of money instead of being controlled by it. They make cold, precise decisions, like chess players seeing 10 moves ahead. A reactive person will never beat the one with a plan, and the one with a plan will never lose to someone who controls the game. Become the creator of the game. Everything you've heard up to this point is meaningless if it stops at just awareness. Knowledge doesn't create power. Only true action, done in silence, creates power. Those who understand the rules of the game are mere spectators. The ones who know how to play the game, they are the ones leading it. This transformation isn't for those who seek comfort. It's for those who are sharp enough to see the world for what it truly is, cold enough to step out of the emotional whirlpool, and determined enough to build their own empire, even if it means walking alone. Step by step, you transform. While the crowd chases temporary pleasures, you choose discipline. While they react emotionally, you calculate like a seasoned strategist. While they expose everything, you keep your secrets close. While they work for someone else, you design systems. When they scream for fairness, you stay silent and win. You become the unpredictable, untouchable, unstoppable. You don't brag. You don't ask for permission. You build in the shadows. And when they look up, you'll be on a whole different level of power. Machiavelli called it the prince's way, the one who controls the game through design and inevitability. The Stoics called it detachment, freedom from being led by emotions. I call it the mindset of the hunter, one that can bend money, power, and people to its will. Most will never understand. They'll keep living by instinct, emotional, predictable, and easy prey. But you've crossed into a different world. Now, you have two choices. 1, go back to being prey, predictable, weak, and poor. 2, or keep going, sharpen your mind, take control, make money work for you, and turn power into a daily habit. There are no miracles in this world. There are only two types of people, the ones who play by the rules and the ones who write them. You can choose to stay in the crowd or step out silently, coldly, and start building your own empire. If you're ready to step into the cold, where strategy trumps emotion and power is greater than words, then take action. Follow the Gaka Mindset channel, subscribe, stay, and sharpen your mind every single day. Because once you cross this line, there's no going back. Power isn't given. It only belongs to those who dare to take it.